Okay. Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm hoping that my connection is not going slow today, but just enjoy, sit back and relax and welcome. Welcome to my page where crazy is official for those who are spiritual at heart. As we take an adventure down miracles lane in life according to the Bible, we explore with one another the presence of God and future references way down the line. I would love to interview those who share the same, who share with me the same like mind. Those who experience visions, dreams, and messages through the power of God. And this is according to the Bible. So remember, stay tuned. Also, I would like to start off by saying how it is in the hand. Okay. And I'm going to always say this, hopefully to remember to say this, that it is in the hand, not between the eyes. Here. It's not between the eyes, but it is in the hand where it is placed that dictates your freedom. Okay? That is what makes you free. And it is called free will because God has given us all free will. Understand? God has given to us all free will. So it is by you willingly taking of the chip or taking of the gift that, which the chip is a gift as well, but it is of your free will and you willingly taking of whatever it is that another individual or a thing places into your hand. Okay? And with that thing, it does cover you. It covers you. And how does the thing cover you? It covers you by fulfilling you. It fills you up. It fills you up like the cup runneth over. Just like the cup runneth over. The same thing happens when something is placed in your hand, free, willingly placed into your hand. It fills you up because you will eat of it. Okay? You will eat of it. And you do not only eat from the mouth. You can eat from the hand. You can eat from the eyes. You can eat from the ears. And I'm not talking about your physical thing. I am talking about the spiritual things. Because the spiritual things, it does eat. And if we want to go a little deeper, that means energy. Everything is supplied, okay, by energy. So if anyone is to take of your supply, that is simply energy, okay? And there are some out there that does take others' supply, which is your energy, okay? In so many words, your energy. And others call it your power. But in science, it's energy, because energy is what creates the whole, what is it called? Food chain. Okay? The food chain instills the food web. Okay? That food web. So it adds up. It adds up, honey. Adds up just like the food web. And it starts from the bottom, which is the food energy. The energy. Everything and everybody needs food energy. Okay? So I noticed that it's better lighting because normally the lighting is just messed up. So like when I'm looking in the camera, my face just looks different. But I guess it dictates on the sun outside on how I'm looking today. So hey, by now I don't care. I don't care. But I'm using the sun outside light, letting it shine in today. Just a little bit. It's not a lot. I'm not outside in the sun, but I am indoors. So the lighting, the lighting, the lighting. I don't care. Hey, oh well. But yes, it is. It is dictated by what's in your hand, okay, that makes you free from the night. And when I say the night, it's the darkness, the dark side of you, your flesh. You can be free from the night, okay? You can be free from the night. So let's get right on in to what it is that I am wanting to give to you. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for this break. Okay. Hello, and we are having connection issues at this time. Connection issues, connection issues. But overall, I will try to get started and get into this topic for today. The topic for today is, but hold on. Before I get into the topic of the day, I wanted to also say how, I wanted to finish saying how what's in your hand um, will either possess you or purpose you. So do know that. So it will possess you or purpose you because you are like the baby within the bubble. Okay. The bubble, it surrounds you and you fit comfortably resting or what's the other word? Or used in a damaging way. I don't know. I can't think of the word right now, but it's on the top. It's target. But anyway, um, you're like a baby in a sack when it's pertaining to being possessed or purpose. You are not the one that is walking. It's whatever that is possessing you or purposing you that causes you to walk forward. Okay, that causes you to set out is what it is known as, to set out. Set out, in other words, is just covering you. Okay, something covers you, which is why some people are not to set out until you're fully covered. Okay, and mostly covered by the power of God. Again, we all need energy, and wherever you're getting your energy from, which is also known as your power, according to the Bible, it depends on where you're getting your energy from. That will lead you into either darkness or into either the light. It depends on where you're getting your energy from. Energy is needed for both the supernatural, the spiritual, and it is also needed for the physical, which is the body, the physical body. So, which is the darkness, which is the shadow boxer over here on this side is different than it is over there on that side. It's not the same. So, again, it is through free will that you take of something. It is not planted and shoved into your head. The only thing that's shoved in your head is God two-edged sword. Now that's the only thing that can come down right here in the pineal gland, what they call the pineal gland, but it's right here between the eyes. The only thing that can be shoved down through there in an instant is God's two-edged sword. And that's the only thing, that's what he comes down to do, is to separate the light from the dark. And he does it between the pineal gland or between the eyes. He puts it between the eyes, known as for the gurus, the pineal gland, but we're going to say between the eye. He brings down the two edge of the sword between the eyes. He does that between the eyes. That's the only thing that comes down between the eyes in an instant and done suddenly, because he comes down to separate the light from the darkness. Okay? So do know that. But other than that, within free will, you are given something by hand only. By hand only are you given something, because it's by law of free will. And I'm not making an excuse for anyone out there. I'm just allowing those who are spiritual to get this in. I know that the wicked will allow themselves to make this as an excuse to keep sinning. But that's neither here nor there. I have nothing to do about it. The information that I share is only for the spiritual in heart over here, which is what I state all the time. This is not for those principalities of darkness, because I have nothing to do with how they interpreted what it is that I'm saying. Everybody, I've said this before, everybody interpret things differently. And it's called interpretation, because what you are in what you are in, the covering that you are in, it adds up. Again, it adds up, and it covers you, and it puts you in a bubble, and that bubble will either put you in a bondage or put you in a bond. And a bond is a little bubble where you like a baby sitting in a sack. Okay? It's more like where you are like a baby sitting in a sack. And mama, or should I say father, is moving you, or the demon is moving you, which is possessing you and gifting you physically. So whatever gift is placed into your hand, whatever you believe for, will be what drives you, be the driving force in your life. I've said that as well. So you either walking in purpose or you walking possessed by a demon. Okay? Meaning you are the demon as well. Do know that. If you're possessed by a demon, that means you are the demon as well. And God is wanting to warn you by coming down. Once he noticed that you've eaten of something, which again is energy. Everybody needs supply. Supply is nothing but energy. And if you are supplying off of somebody else's energy, which is what animals do, then you are in what spiritual says that it will place you as an animal, because you eating off of somebody else, which means that you will be placed in a spiritual realm as an animal. Okay? Because you're not getting your energy, which is your supply, which is your power, which means that the presence of God, you in the presence of God, you're not getting that from God, which makes you the human that you are. That means that you can, according to the Bible, that makes you be able to stand between man and God. Okay? The energy, the supply, the power that you eat of, because you have to eat of it, the energy, because we all need energy. We all need it. But wherever you get your energy from, your supply from, dictates how you will be. And in the spiritual realm, that puts you as a DOG presence and not a God presence. Okay, the presence of God is not there, but the presence of a dog will be there. So you will be surrounded by dogs if that person is wanting to feed off of your energy. Now that was I just gave you a interpretation. If you're needing interpretation of a dream and you see dogs surrounding you, or you see dogs lurking in a distance, that is, they are wanting your supply. They are wanting your energy. That's the same thing. Energy is supply. Supply is energy. Your presence is their supply. Okay? And they eat off of other people. Energy. They eat off other people supply. That's you. That makes them be, it's not you that makes them be a dog, but it is you that they want of. They want to eat of your energy. They want your energy. They want your supply. They want your presence, which could be in the power of God. They don't want you to be fully human being supplied by the presence of God, because they can't make their own. They don't know how to make their own. So they want yours. And it just really depends, because everybody eat. Some people eat everything through greed. Through greed. And I talked about laziness yesterday, but through greed, some people eat variety of things. They don't care what it is. They just want it. And whatever you eat, it creates energy. Okay, it gives you energy. And you have to have energy in order to live on the face of this earth. You have to have energy. So being that you have to have energy, though some people will supply off of you. They will want your energy. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But yes, they will want yours. And that makes them, in your dream or vision, a dog. You will see them as dogs. But these dogs are really people, but they refuse to eat of the supply that God has given them. Okay? They refuse to eat of the supply that God has given them. So they would rather eat of you, another human being. And people eat off of people. Cannabis. What is it? Cannabis? Caliber. All I know is that people eat, I don't know the name, I forgot the name, but people eat off of other people. That is a thing. That is a thing. It's a sacrifice. It's called sacrifice. And it has a C name I can't think of, that human use, where they eat off of people. People do eat off of people, which in the spiritual realm, you will see those same people being of an image of a dog, because this is how they have come. And that means they have no right, no legal right to stand before you or God, because God said, according to the Bible, that God presence allows you, the God presence allow you to be before man and God. And if that person is coming off as a dog in the spiritual realm, that means that person is eating of you, eating of whatever somebody say, whatever somebody do. They are taking everything personal. Okay? You are the supply. You are the energy. They eat. So whatever's in a person's hand, that they will eat of. Okay? Which is why you are to pray to get directed. To get directed. And again, I will speak on this later about prayer. But overall, you have to get right, upright. You have to get upright. You have to rise. You have to get uplifted. Okay? So that things can be drawn out from you. Okay? According to the Bible, for things to get drawn out from you, you have to be standing upright. getting lined up. Okay. And again, that does not mean that there won't be people who want your energy, because all they know how to do is eat of everything through the sin called greed, iniquity called greed. Okay, that's what causes them to be in greed, because they don't know in which freedom they have been supplied of. Okay, so it's up to the individual to want to eat of the things that they should, and the rest be thrown out before it even touches them. Because whatever you eat of, it will fill you up, and it will pour out, placing an image over you, or placing an image before others, and others will see that image that is on you, because God has given us the ability to discern before from good and evil. And the discernment is when God places the two-edged sword, the thing that God places between us, between the eyes right here in this gland here, is the two edge of the sword. And that's to separate the good from evil. He warns you with that two-edged sword. He warns you. He lets you know what is going on, how you are acting, what you are doing through any iniquity that you have placed before you. As you are going over into the flesh, he will warn you, because you are taking steps there. Okay, it's not like it's just happening. No, you take steps there, and it appears as though, like it happens suddenly. Only thing that happens suddenly is God's two-edged sword when he places it between the eyes. He places that there. Okay, and it cuts deep, deeper than you think. So anyway, you're either purpose-filled or you're purpose-filled, because the direction in which you go will either be purpose or possessed. So let's get right on into what I wanted to speak about. And that is today's topic is about addiction. Sorry I was so long about that. Today's topic is about addiction. Addiction. I don't know too much about it, but so I'll keep it real brief and talk about what I know about it. Okay. And what was placed in my heart to tell you about it. Everything else, hey, leaders, y'all know. And when I say leaders, I mean those who are in the spiritual realm, and they are able to be in the presence before man and man and God. Those are leaders. The dogs are not. They have not been given legal right to stand before anyone. So today's topic on my video show is about addiction. A lot of people think that they are in love. A lot of people think that they are in love. Some people think that they are operating out of love towards another individual. Sometimes they think they are in operation of love, but in reality, they are addicted to the person. Okay, love and addiction can look the same. Let's say that again. Love and addiction can look the same, but it is not. You are either in love, or you are either in addiction. Okay, Because again, you can either operate out of your flesh or you can either operate out of the spirit. And it's different over in the spirit than it is in the flesh. Okay. So you can either be addicted to the person, and that's if you are in operation of your flesh. The only way you can get along with the person is if you're addicted to the person. That's the only way you can get in tune with that person, is if you are addicted to the person. And you will do things to make yourself addicted to them. You will stir them up. Okay, that's the main thing. You will stir them up into their flesh so that you can make them addicted to you, or you will attach yourself to somebody who's already in their flesh, and that makes it more easier for you to be addicted to them, being that you are in operating of your flesh as well. So again, some people think that addiction is love. They are the same, but they are different. Okay, they are different. They appear to be the same, but they are different. You can have an addiction to someone, or you can be in addiction of someone, or you can be in love of someone. And a lot of times, if you are operating out of your flesh, you are addicted to that person. And you are looking for pinpoints. You are looking for pinpoints to make out of something, so that you can continue as an addict. Okay. At some point you're going to be looking for things that will pinpoint out your addiction as an addict. Okay. So you're going to be making that person your drug. Okay. You're going to be making that person your drug because of being addicted to them. So a lot of people say they ain't on drugs. I'm sorry to tell you, you are. You are on drugs, spiritually addicted, in the flesh, for that person. And a lot of things that you do and say causes you to be even more addicted to it. Okay? Just like with cigarettes, you can have addiction to cigarettes. No matter if you do it a lot, every single day, or if you do it sparingly, every now and then. It doesn't matter. The excuses in your head is what matters to you. You're making it personal with you. And you think that you saying what you're saying, it makes it better, but it doesn't. You're still addicted if you still do what is killing you, that is causing death, okay, to you, death that you're living in. So do know that an addiction, that addiction that you have, can cause you to consistently make excuses as to why you're doing something to stir someone up into being what you want them to be. And then if a person falls short of being that way, being that you're an addict, you don't want to deal with them. You would rather have a gossip, a complaint, or murmuring attitude about something, anything that is before you, in order to make the connection. You'll just place it there. You want it there. There is where you want to leave it at. So you'll find any excuses to keep being the addict that you are. The addiction is real. The addiction is real, okay, for all, including myself. We all can be addicted to anything. The physical addiction is obvious. You know, we got people addicted to drugs, addicted to pills, addicted to sex, addicted to pornography, addicted to just addicted to drugs, marijuana. Everybody is addicted to something, but no one knows what you are addicted to spiritually first. Okay? And everyone is addicted to something. You could be addicted to bitterness in a spiritual realm. You could be addicted to bitterness. You could be addicted to anger. You could be addicted to wrath. Okay? You could be addicted to greed spiritually. You could be addicted to lust. You could be addicted to envy. You could be addicted to jealousy spiritually. You could be addicted to so many things that are the root cause of your afterbirth effect on your flesh. And again, the birth is you being in the covering of the bondage or the bond. And the bond is what fills you up and spills out and causes an image to form. And we'll say a vision. It causes the vision to take place before you. And you will walk in that vision that's set before you. That is what drives you out. That is what sets you forth. Okay? Do know that. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to let you know. Okay? That the bond always set forth an image. It always set forth a vision. And the bondage does too. A bondage set forth an image. It set forth a vision. Those things, they always set forth a vision before it drives you forward. Because you got to see the thing before you go. Okay? And a lot of people are going and operating in their flesh because they see it. And not these two seeing things. I'm speaking of seeing things in the spiritual realm first before it even causes a bubble, which is a covering over you, and places you in a sack ready to be birthed on the inside of it. Okay? So you can have an addiction to someone versus being in love of someone. Do know that you are walking in either one. Either you walking in love or you are walking in addiction. An addict. You are an addict or you are walking in love. But again, an addict being addicted to someone, it looks just like love. It truly does. But a person can stir you up so far in the flesh to the point where you think that you love them. Okay? You can think that you love them or that they love you because you could be stirred too far in the flesh as well. And this takes place through loneliness. Understand? This takes place through loneliness. It is in loneliness that you become addicted to doing something out of boredom. Out of boredom does this take place through loneliness that causes you to be addicted to someone. You could be stirring up something, and that person could be stirring up something in you. Vice versa. It goes back and forth. You stirring them up, then they stir you up, then you stirring them up, and to the point where you become addicted and you can't see yourself stirring them up because you're so addicted. You are an addict to just receiving the energy off of somebody else. Okay? Off of somebody else. Oh, I found it. Cannibalism. Yes, cannibalism. Just thought of the word. Cannibalism. That's what it's called. So yes, you can be in cannibalism, in the act of cannibalism of another person. Yes, because you are eating of them. You are addicted to them. You're not addicted to God, but you are addicted to somebody else other than God. So you need their energy. You need their supplies, like a vampire or like a werewolf off in the woods. Can't wait to devour you. Just can't wait. They need your supply. They gotta have it. So this is done through loneliness and boredom. Okay? Not knowing what to do, not reading the Bible, not praising God, not getting lined up, not getting uplifted, not walking upright. More so just floating through air, floating through life, not doing and operating in your purpose, but being possessed in that bubble, which you are in the sack and you give birth. You are the birth that comes out of that sack that covers you. Okay? Do know that part. Do understand that part. That once the bond is made, that's the bond, the covering of you, the bubble. Once that bond is made, okay, you are in the sack. And once you become like that baby in the sack, just picture the sack, and you are in the bond. You come out, you're birth out of that sack. Okay, you're birth out of that sack, and you come out of the sack, and that is what drives you forward. So you are either just floating through air, or you just covered. I'm sorry, you are just setting forth, okay, upright. And the ending of loneliness, being an addict, being addicted to something or someone, it is placed through loneliness, and the ending result is sadness. It's sadness. The ending result is sadness. So you have this sadness about you. When you enter the room, it just spills out on everybody around you. That sadness, it spills out. It just comes out around, out of you, from you. Okay, it's just a sadness. And when the addiction is gone and the sadness, okay, when the addiction is gone, and the sadness in your loneliness draws you back to that addiction with that person. No matter how long it's been since y'all haven't talked, no matter how long it's been since y'all haven't connected, no matter how long, okay, if that person is still dealing with addiction, even no matter if you haven't spoken to that person in a long time, y'all ain't had no type of emotional connection, which is still energy, even though that, because an addict don't have to take a puff in a long time, but once he go back to it, he's still an addict. It don't matter how spaced out, how long it is. The addict is still an addict, no matter how long they haven't taken a puff from their cigarette, or no matter how long they haven't taken a puff from their marijuana, no matter how long they haven't taken a puff from any type of smoke, any type of vapor. Okay? It doesn't matter how long. That's an excuse for you making it personal and want to put in the excuses all the time for your addiction that you still have. So do know that the addiction, once it's gone and the sadness is right there, the sadness was right there in your loneliness, that draws you back to that addiction with that person. Yeah, it does. While you are in your sadness, within that loneliness, that draws you back through boredom to that person. And that causing it, that is called an addiction. That's not love. That's not nowhere near love. That's not love. Not whatsoever. I hate to tell you that, but I love to let you know, because I love love. Not in a way that the world wants you to love, but I love love in the way according to the Bible love. And do know that you can be addicted at times, and you can be in love at times. And it's better to be in the operation of love. It's better to be in operation of love. It's way better. I'm telling you, it's so much better to be in operation of love. That's why when people say it's not only about love, it ain't about love at all. What you talking about love for? That's an addict. That person is an addict. And they were ready, and they are viciously ready to devour you. Okay? You and all that is of you spiritually still lying dormant there. If you got a little bit of light on you, oh, believe me, they taking that energy, because the light is energy, honey. The light, the glory light, that glory light is your energy, and they want that bubble. They want to stop your birth, okay? Known as stopping your birth. They want to abort you from your mission, known as that, okay? They want to abort you from your mission, okay? The mission being impossible. The mission being impossible. They want to abort you from the mission, which means they don't want you to give birth. They want to take the sac that births you, that you are in. They want to take that sac from you before you give birth. They won't take it. They don't want that baby there. They don't want that baby here. They don't want you here. You are the baby. That's why in this season, God is wanting both you and that baby to make it out. Not that demon, but you and that baby, baby. You baby. Excuse me. So that addiction looks like you loving on that person, place or thing, don't matter what it is. that addiction makes you feel as though it's an emotional feeling that you have, that you gotta work up. Okay, you gotta work it up. So meaning stirred up, that's the same thing according to the Bible, is known as stirring up. But according to the world, it's known as working up iniquity. So emotions, you got to be stirred up of it if you are an addict. And you gotta get that same emotional response from that other person if you are an addict. So it looks like it's love, but it is not. And you'll find the discernment of it because it won't look right. It just won't look right. So loving him or her, the place or the thing, but you're not loving it. If you're not able to speak or speak appropriately without an outburst of anger back at that person or place or thing or situation, meaning people can be what they want to be in certain environment because of the energy that they're feeding off of. They good. Okay. So back at this person's manipulating tongue, because it is through the tongue the mouth speaks, which I spoke about how this here is the grave and it carries the dead people, and the tongue is what spits out whatever is needed to be spit out. The tongue does that. Even as I'm talking, there are bonds being set, because in the light, when somebody's speaking, you can see all that spit coming from their mouth. You can see that. Everybody spits. I don't care who you is. You spit. And those bonds are being placed through the tongue, because that's where it lies in the tongue. The tongue spits it out. Without the tongue, nothing going nowhere. Okay? Without the tongue, ain't nothing going nowhere. Tongue makes it possible. The tongue makes it possible, honey. So I'll give you an example. An example being that again, an anger outburst. Like if you have an anger outburst, okay, that is an addiction. Okay, that means that makes you addicted to that thing. Like for example, cussing. They said that it's okay to cuss. It's nothing in the Bible that says that you can't cuss. But what does that have to do with anything? Cussing is still like you addicted to whatever's in the root of your spirit self. You're still addicted to something, and that something is the bitterness upon this earth. Okay, so if you're cussing, that means that you still dipping and dabbing into the flesh. Okay, you still going for flesh for something embedded, meaning you're addicted to, which is the plant root of bitterness. The bitterness that's still inside of you still remains, and you are going back to it to get the supply of it. Especially, let's just say an addict. When you don't got the supply of another person, where do you go? Where do you go? And I only know about spiritual addicts. I don't know about the physical addict. I just know about the spiritual addict. Now, the addict themselves physically, they know about a physical addict. But I'm just telling you about what I know about the spiritual addict, because that's the root cause of what forms over you physically. It don't just start in the physical, it starts in the spiritual. It's a root cause. So what do you do once you can't get the supply from the person? Because you still an addict, and you're still operating out of being an addict, meaning you just got so many outbursts that's not of God. What do? You go and, as an addict, you will go to your own self, the supply that you need. Okay? You'll go to get the supply from yourself that you need. Spiritually, yes, you will go to get the supply you need in the physical, in that physical womb, speaking spiritually. And then as you are going in the physical supply, God will bring down the two edge of the sword to warn you before you take place in doing anything. But a lot of people, they don't hear the calling. They don't take heed to the calling. They don't take heed. They'll still just go out doing what it is that they want to do. They'll still do it. They'll still set out in addiction, an addict. They'll set out as an addict doing what they want to do. So either the addict will supply of themselves by getting it from flesh in the spiritual realm, or they will go outside of that and try to build a bondage. Because if it's out of bond, it's bondage. They'll build a bond with the other person through emotions, the outbursts, okay, which could be an anger outburst, but it's based off of bitterness, the bitterness of the earth, the coldness of the earth, okay, the coldness of the earth. Don't let nobody tell you that it's okay being cold, because it's not. That's bitterness. That's the bitterness of the earth that they get that from. That's the anger and the wrath of themselves, of what they womb has caused of them through addiction. They are an addict, and they are wanting to get the supply from their flesh, even though we are spirit, and some spirits try and get the supply from their flesh, which causes them to operate in their flesh. You understand? We are spirit. We are spirit. And some spirits will go to the supply of their flesh, which is themselves, trying to get the supply, get the energy, get the emotions that they need. And then the outburst will be what they do towards somebody else. Okay? That's the next step, is the outburst. Have they sinned yet? They have not sinned yet if they get the supply for themselves, but they are sinning against themselves. That they are. They have not sinned. They haven't been sinned yet. They haven't sinned yet, but they are sinning against themselves. They sinning against themselves. They damaging themselves. They killing themselves. They are destroying themselves when they try to get the supply from their flesh. Because being that we are spirit, one God. That's what we are. One spirit, one God. And spirit, you can get the supply from your flesh, which causes you to eventually operate in your flesh if you don't take heed to the call of God. Okay? If you don't take heed to the utterance of God, okay? That's another word, the utterance of God. If you don't take heed to that, you will be a setting out against God in the flesh eventually. So cussing is a deep root of bitterness. That means that spirit got the supply from their flesh. If you cussing, that means that you have got that supply from the bitterness and the coldness of your heart, your flesh. Okay? Which is why I'm gonna say this too. Certain men and women in the industry, in the cold-hearted industry, being surrounded by so much coldness and all, they have played crazy on their note, due to being, due to being torn apart from their flesh and their spirit. Because we are spirit, and the people in the industry will try to consistently pull. As being an addict, they will consistently pull from the flesh, which causes them to go crazy, especially when they torn between spirit and flesh. They will go crazy in that industry, in any type of industry. It doesn't mean that it has to be in the music industry. It can be just us, plain old selves, in an industry mindset. Okay? We can be in our industrial mind. Yes. The little pyramid, that's an industry. That's the industrial mindset. And you can be in your own little bubble of your industrial mindset, which is not the correct bubble that you're supposed to be in. It is a bondage because you're out of bound. It's not a bond. You're out of bound. That means it is a bondage that you are in. You have placed yourself willingly, because it's on your will. It's given to you in your hand. You took of it and ate of it. Either you eating of the body of Christ, or you eating of the flesh of this world. So you took and you ate of it. The body. Your own body. Somebody else's body. Not the body of Christ. Okay? You took and ate of that. You didn't take and eat of God's, the blood of God, the body of God. You didn't take and eat of that meat. You didn't eat of that meat. You ate of some other meat, somebody else's meat. Them. Okay? All this stuff is for a reason why these things are being said. And it's according to the Bible. The meat that you should be supplying of is Jesus, not the Jesus in somebody else. I know that God has said that you should be getting a supply of the meat of Jesus, but not the Jesus in somebody else. The Jesus in you. There is no excuse that you would consistently be an addict, going around here assuming a position as though you are in love, and you are not, because something is off about you. So when them people in the music industry go crazy, you know why. You know why? Because they are trying to get the supply from themselves at that moment. They can't get the supply from somebody else because ain't nobody else there. Ain't nobody else want to be bothered with them. So they are getting a supply from themselves. So therefore they go crazy. And as they getting the supply from themselves, they can't, that's an addict. They are an addict, regardless of how they play it. Pray for them. Okay. They will say pray for them. But the only prayer they need is to be lined up, to walk upright. to be uplifted so that they can be in line for God's calling on their life. They need to be in line for God's calling on their life. It's more to it than the eating of your own supply, and then because you ain't got nobody else's supply to get to yet. So then when you get somebody, you good. You notice that when they get somebody, they all good, they ain't crazy no more, because they never was crazy. They was assuming a position of an addict. They was addicted. And when they got in a position of being not trying to get the supply for themselves, and they got somebody before them, they was no longer crazy. No, that ain't the crazy. That's an addict. They are being in the position of an addict, and they are showing you that they are an addict right before your face, and you not noticing that they are an addict. They going crazy like that. That's an addict. That's an addict. That person is an addict. And when they're in a relationship with someone, they all of a sudden they cool. They got their supply. They got their supply. They good now. All they do is be calm while the other one act up. While the person act up, they gonna be as calm as possible while that other person just acts up. How is that? Because the addict they have been supplied of everything they need, of all their needs, which God is supposed to be the supplier of all our needs. But the addict, they not operating in love, right? So therefore they are operating in their addiction. So the world will supply all their needs. And if they can't get it, they go crazy. They assume the position of looking crazy. But in return, they are addicted. They are an addict. And they are outbursting and showing us how an addict is when they cannot get their supply. They go insane. Okay. And also another example is a man. Okay, in the troubles that man has on the face of this earth every single day, which we all see that man, they have their trouble. Oh yes, you go through your trouble. But let me tell you what the trouble is. The trouble that a man goes through every single day is between love, being loving someone, loving themselves, or being in love of money. That's the only problems that a human being on the face of this earth is having. So any man that comes to you, and when I say man, I'm using it as an example of man, being that man always come to a woman and tells her, I got problems of my own. I'm dealing with some stuff. I'm dealing with things. It's no. And then that woman responds in operation of being stirred up and say, I care about you. I want you. I want to make sure you are okay. Okay. And I know they got the little phrase for it now called the empath. Okay. Being an empath to they call a narcissist, okay, but really the person is an addict. Let's just make it simple. They are an addict, and they are operating in their addiction, and the addiction drives them so crazy when they cannot get the supply that they need. Because after a while, an addict don't want the supply from their flesh. They want to supply from somebody else's too, because they greedy. Let's just keep it simple. The narcissist, the empath, whatever, an addict to a person who loves. It's unequally yoked. Okay. An addict to a person who loves is unequally yoked. Let's get back to the Bible. Biblically, this speaks an addict. You are either an addict or you are a lover. If you ain't a lover, you an addict. And if you are a lover trying to coexist with an addict, you are unequally yoked. And now that addict will take over you, because evil, and according to the Bible, evil corrupts good. Okay? Evil corrupts good. It does. Do know that. Evil corrupts good instantly. Even though done slowly, it's instantly done before your eyes, because you not one time took a breath, which makes you dead before it's even done. You not one time took a breath. God gives us breath. God gives us life. But you're dead when you can't take a breath because something happened so quickly, so suddenly. You dead. You was dead. And you woke to see the results of that. That's coming to pass. That's called coming to pass. That you was able to be woke now after all your oxygen was taken away from you and you died there with no breath because something happened suddenly. If anything happened suddenly, you didn't even get a chance to breathe, to inhale any of it, because it was done slowly but suddenly to you. That's dead. You dead. You was dead. You was dead. You was dead. But being that you are even awoke to realize what just happened, now you need to walk upright. You need to be getting uplifted, meaning you need to cause spirit to uplift flesh, your flesh. Your spirit self is your true self. So now you need spirit to uplift your flesh as it get into the spirit and get lined up. Okay? And be able to draw out that which does not belong there. Okay? So do know that you have experienced addicts around us, and lovers cannot be around addicts because spiritually they are addicted to bitterness, to coldness. And before you even take a breath, they would have suddenly gotten to you, which means you were dead in that moment. Okay? And you could still be dead even if you are talking good stuff, because you could still be operating from bitterness. So a man problem is that he is, any man that tell you about his problems all day, every day, is an addict. So either that man can be addicted to you or he could love you. He is doing either one. He is addicted to you or he is loving you, meaning he teaching you things, he's showing you things that you need to. He's not being angry. An addict becomes angry because they can't get the supply they need. What you mean you want to learn something? What you mean you learned something? What you mean? That's an addict. An addict is always in an uproar viciously against you or anybody else or something else. It don't matter what it is. They are always in an uproar. But God said that he will be in uproar against that uproar. He will roam around. He does these things. Man has nothing over the real true God. Even though they complain and murmur and gossip about all the troubles they have, the only trouble that man have, if they are not in love of you, is an addiction. They have an addiction, meaning they are lovers of money. And being a lover of money, if you ain't about being in an appearance of money, or you ain't about having no money, they got to find something about money, about you, in order to be addicted to it. Which is why men can use you for your environment, your place of residence, your status, your looks, your character. Man will use you for all sorts of things to get their supply. Or they will stir you up to get their supply that they need, because they are an addict. And an addict cannot be with a lover. An addict can't be with a lover, because y'all gonna fight against each other. Y'all gonna always fight against each other. And so that means that the devil gonna be between y'all relationship all the time. Okay? That devil, the demon, that demonic, all that evil is gonna be in y'all relationship until somebody wake up and love. And as you are loving them, you will eventually remove yourself from them and not make excuses or accept any excuses from them. You will remove yourself if you consistently seeing that the person is acting out of character and being an addict. I know y'all seen an addict and how they act. That's an addict. They can be addicted to you. You are their money. And if you ain't showing forth, sprouting like millions, they gonna sob to you in pity. And God said you are not to have pity upon any man upon the face of this earth. According to the Bible, you are not to have pity on no one. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you that, but that's true. According to the Bible, you are not to have pity upon no one, because that person can be an addict. And as they are being an addict, they will corrupt you into being one too. And you will fall out of place of being that lover in that loving environment, that heavenly environment, the spirit, which is your original you. So that is the only problem that man is having upon the face of this earth. If they try to tell you anything else, I want you to keep hearing money, 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 money. Every time they speak, I want you to just place that between you and them. Money, 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 money. That's all you're going to be hearing. That's all the addict is wanting to get their supply. You the money. You're going to be the money that helps them get their supply. And they riches, oh, they going to be a millionaire. And they ain't even got a budge inside. All they got to do is stir you up, make you to be what they want you to be. And then you, poof, you are what they say you are. Everything they say you are, you're going to fall into place of whatever they say you are. Okay? And I'm not saying that you can be walking in the spirit and still do what a person say that you are, but you are separated from them. You're not worried about what they're talking about, because you are operating in love. You are away from them. You don't have anything to do with them. You walk away. So be knowing you can still have an addiction. You can still have an addiction to bitterness, meaning that you are spirit. We are all spirit, one God. You can still have an addiction if you are going to flesh, if flesh for any type of supply, your own flesh, because you are spirit. If you're going to flesh for supply, being that you can't do an outburst against somebody because there's nobody there, you can still be in operation of bitterness. Have you sinned? No, but you are sinning against yourself. It's a state, a state in which you're being. Have you sinned? No, you have not sinned. And that's the excuse people give you too. I ain't sinned, did I? No, but you are sinning. Okay, it's a place. You are sinning. You are sinning against yourself. Have you sinned? No, you haven't sinned against anybody yet. No, but you are sinning, and you need to stay right there so that God can supply you with what you need while you are sinning in that place, in that flesh, while you are spirit going to flesh for your supply. Because God don't want you to give it to nobody else. That's sinning. That's sin. And that means that you're okay with being in sin. Okay. You might not understand what I'm saying, but sinning means you are doing something within your spirit self is supplying on your flesh. You are sinning against yourself. Sinning, ing. But if you sin against somebody, that means that you are in operation of sin, and you are okay with being in that moment of sin. That's yes. But God wants to stop you from the sin, okay? While you are in a mode of sinning within yourself. There is a difference. So do know when you get your supply as an addict from your flesh, you are in operating of bitterness. You are in operating of coldness. When you or another person is taking a visit back into some part of your dark side, and you begin to cuss, you begin to be operating out of anger, you begin to operate out of your lust, you begin to operate out of fornication, you begin to operate out of adultery, when you begin to do those things, sin, wrath, you are operating out of sin. That's sin. That means you have passed sinning, because sinning is first. Then the sin is the actual operation. That means you set out. And that is what you're doing. You are in sin, in operation of sin. And out of your mouth, you okay with it. You okay with operating from that grave, your mouth, of yourself. You are okay with the sin of that grave operating out of your mouth from that grave of your mouth, that sin. And you are taking visits unaware. You're taking visits unaware. So do know that the trouble that man has, male or female, okay, male or female, the trouble that man have, I want you to learn, for yourself. When you see a man complaining about this, complaining about that, I want you to be faced with that and learn from that. And what you will learn from that is, as the addict is speaking, you will learn to separate, discern That's what separate means. You will learn to discern, meaning separate from that addiction and operate in love. As you are faced with another addict, learn to love instead. That don't mean that you gotta stay there. It means that you walk away. You learn from it. Okay, I see it. So that means as you are faced with the person, you see it, you see yourself. You see yourself. You don't see them because it's nothing personal. It's you will see yourself. So always remember that. Notice yourself so that you can be in a learning position. And you will learn what you learned yesterday on today. And in the future, you'll learn, today what you will learn in the future. Okay? And that will cause you to walk in love once you separate yourself. Because God will cause a separation by bringing down a two-edged sword right here in the middle of this, what they call pineal gland, right here in between the head. God will put that sword down there before you even begin to operate in sin and think it's okay to operate there. While you are yet sinning or yet a sinner, ER, God will send down the two edges of the sword before you start to operate in sin, meaning that you are okay with doing whatever it is you do to whoever it is you do it to. That's operation in sin. You making it be okay. And it's not okay. It's simply not okay. So I have an ending. Let me end this. I have something to tell you today. And that is some questions. I have some questions for you. And my questions are, do you know what's in your hand? Do you know what's in your hand? Not what's in your head. Do you know what's in your hand? Look there. See what's in it. Do you know that the presence of God is here? Do you know that? Do you know that God loves you? Do you know that? Do you know that miracles happen? They happen. Do you know that you have a purpose? You don't have to operate out of being possessed by something other than God. Do you know that you have a purpose to set out in? Do you know that miracles are going to happen? No matter what nobody say about miracles don't happen no more. Do you know that miracles are going to happen? They are going to happen. Do you believe in what the Bible says? Do you believe in what the Bible says that you have? Well, say these two simple prayers with me as we end on today's topic, being about an addict, or you can be addicted to someone or being in love with someone. In operation, I mean, because you can be either working from iniquity or from the Spirit. Say these two prayers from me after those questions that I asked. Those who are wanting to say these prayers with me, say it with me. Close your eyes and you can lift up your head. Always know there's something, it's just more different when you lift up your head than when you put your head down. I don't know what's that about to putting the head down, but when you lift your head up, it's like something powerful happens. So lift your head up, close your eye, and say this prayer with me. Jesus, repeat after me. Jesus, forgive me of my sin. Come into my heart and save me and make me your child. I believe you are the Son of God who died on the cross for my sin and rose on the third day. Thank you, Jesus, for saving me. Close your eyes, lift your head up, say the next prayer with me. Our Father, repeat after me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespasses against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. May God bless you, and may you be safe. And may you understand that the impossible is possible, okay? The impossible is possible. It's possible with God. Do know that. Do know that you are a blessing, not a curse. You no longer have to operate in the sin that causes you to be in utter darkness of your flesh. Your flesh is the darkness. Your flesh is the shadow. You don't have to be in that. You can operate in love. It's okay to operate in love. I know that people disregarded you of love before, but now it's time for you to get back rooted and planted in love. Because once you are rooted and planted in love, that which does not belong with you, it have to flee. It have to go. Go now. In the mighty name of Jesus. Go now. Poof. Be gone. In Jesus' name. Amen. Goodbye.